Hi, this is Sue Shields with My Florida Dreams Mobile Home Sales and Rentals. Today we're going to be discussing the purchase of a mobile home. We're going to be explaining and hopefully answering all of your questions pertaining to the purchase of a land-leased mobile home. Joining me today is Dan Clark. He's our superstar agent from Venice, Florida. Welcome, Dan.
Thanks for having me.
We've discussed land-leased versus land-owned in previous podcasts, but I think it bears repeating. Dan and I both live in land-leased communities, and we love the lifestyle. Dan, tell me how you respond to prospective buyers when you hear lot rent is too high and like throwing money down the drain.
Well, the first thing I ask them is, what are you comparing it to? So many people, that's just a natural reaction. So what are you comparing it to? Because I know I'm in Venice. I know apartment rentals are $1,500 to $1,800. I know condos are $120, $150 up. Homes $250,000 and up. So my dad's a retired banker. He taught me the old Ben Franklin T-bar graph a long time ago. Do your positives and your negatives. You can come into one of these parks, spend $20,000 to $50,000, depending on what you're looking at, buy a nice place to live. Yes, you're going to have $1,050 lot rent. I pay $1,069 lot rent myself. I pay less than $200 for utilities, so it costs me $1,269 a month to live there. That's a lot cheaper than $1,500 to $1,800 from an apartment that I'm sharing a wall with somebody else. You know, and I've got 14, almost 1,500 square feet. I got 3 pools, clubhouses, activities, and all that goes with it. So I think if you start really breaking that down and looking at it, it sounds, the initial reaction is, well, I got to own my land. Well, so you want to own that little postage stamp of land and pay an extra $100,000 for that postage stamp? You know, hey, that $100,000, you can pay a lot of lot rent with that, and you keep a lot of money left in the bank for other things to do.
I agree. That's why we're here. There's a process that works for making a decision on what you want to do. And we're going to go through that process with you and explain it. The first step is ask yourself, why are you coming to Florida? What brought you to Florida, Dan?
Warm weather and beaches.
Yeah, me too. Warm weather mostly, but also this was a place we had always wanted to retire. So it was just an easy decision for us. Next question you ask yourself, are you going to be moving here permanently or are you going to be here seasonally?
So many people start out thinking I'm going to be here 3 or 4 months, then it goes to 6 months, then it goes to 8 months, and then before you know it, you're here year round. I know a lot of people, that's the plan, and hey, it's a good gig if you can spend 6 months up north and 6 months down here. But as life goes on, you end up spending more and more time here.
You do. You make really good friends here when you're in one of these communities. So the next question is why? What is your lifestyle? Are you an active person? You're busy? Or are you a quiet person that likes to be left alone? Because it might determine or help you determine what type of park you want to be in. There are smaller private parks. Their lot rents are less. They don't have the activities that we have. I know Dan and I are both in a very large park. What brought you to Bay Indies?
Well, my parents had been there for 15 years, so it was an easy thing for me, but I just love the lifestyle, the activities, and you don't feel like you're in a big park. You got your home and you got 3 different pools, so it's like you're in your own little smaller park in a large park to me. So that wasn't a concern to me. I know some people, the worst thing you can do as a senior is sit at home and do nothing and eat TV dinners. Get out and enjoy that beautiful weather. Get involved. Get into the activities, cause there's 80 clubs, hundreds of activities. Get out there and enjoy that life.
Agreed. I know our park has tennis, pickleball, horseshoes, shuffleboard, 5 pools.
Bocce.
2 exercise rooms. You guys have bocce ball.
We have a big bocce court. Yeah. Fitness centers, billiards rooms, you name it. There is something for you to find to do. I guarantee it.
Yeah. And the other thing is there is such a sense of community in these parks. I mean, we all look after each other, right?
It's comical. You go to list a house and you ask the people for a key to put in the lockbox in case they're not there when you need to show it. Oh, I've got to run next door and get the key from the neighbors. So, it's old-fashioned, old-style community the way things used to be. Everybody does look out for each other, and I think that's another thing that just makes it so nice.
I agree. And then next you want to go, where in Florida do I want to be? because it's a big state.
Oh, some people come down here, they don't know if they're going to be East Coast, West Coast, North. I know, coming from Maine, North Florida's cold. I spent a bunch of time up in North Florida. I lived in Ocala for a while. It was too cold. I wanted to be where it's warm. I didn't want to move all the way down here to be cold. We get those 2 days a year it's cold, but, you can be all kinds of places, but for me, I wanted to be on the coast near the Gulf for the fishing, the beaches, and everything else. And hey, we're living in paradise.
You got that right. Also, do your homework. Get on the internet, do some searching, talk to people, call up a dealer like My Florida Dreams and ask questions. We are more than willing to talk to you and answer any questions you have about any of the parks that we have listings in. Again, we're from Tampa to Fort Myers. If you want to be in the warmest, head down to Fort Myers or Naples or Venice. We're a little farther north, but our reason for being here was a little different. Venice was our first choice, but we have 2 dogs, and at that time, you couldn't have 2 dogs. So we are in a park that allows 2 dogs. You've had a lot of people call you and ask you questions. What kind of questions do they usually ask when they're calling you?
Well, they're looking for costs. They're looking for amenities. Where are we located? What's nearby? Hospitals, doctors, those types of things. If you've got some health issues, the doctors here in Florida are 10 times better than they ever were in Maine. Not that they don't have good doctors in Maine, but they see so much more of it with the senior clientele that we have down here. They're building 2 brand new hospitals right behind us. Venice and Sarasota both are building new hospitals. So those types of things. How far are you away from the beaches? What about, restaurants and stuff like that and places to eat? Am I going to be able to fit in? How am I going to meet friends? And that's the good thing with these communities. You got all these activities. You just go, do it, and you meet people. And the next thing, you got lifelong friends.
Yeah, you can show up at the pool, and I guarantee you're going to find somebody at the pool that you really get along with, and it just snowballs from there.
There'll be a conversation you can jump in, guaranteed.
Yep. So your next step would be to plan a visit. And part of that would be getting a hold of an agent and talking to them about the different communities. Some of the parks, like ours in Colony Cove, offer you sort of a guest house stay where you can come and stay in the park, use the amenities, talk to people, and make sure before you purchase that that's the kind of area you want to be in. Other parks, people come down and they rent for a couple of months, right?
Yeah, they come down and they rent for that prime time seasonal, January, February, March, April. And then they come here and they fall in love. They get in with the community. Hey, this is great. They just fall in love with the area. And the next thing you know, hey, I want to buy something.
Right.
Cause why do you want to keep paying, $2,000, $2,500 rent during prime time when you can buy something for not a heck of a lot more and have your own place to come back to and have that same place each year?
Right. Also, something you should know is that with land-leased homes, it is unlike real estate. They do not have an organized MLS that allows any agent from any company to show any house. So you will be restricted to looking at houses that are by that particular company, not necessarily an agent, but by the agency. So you may have to make appointments with more than one agency to see homes because we can't show each other's.
No, there's exclusive listings. We represent the buyer and the seller and just take care of it from A to Z.
Right. And then all of these parks do require a background check. They do a credit check and they do a criminal background check. I know ours in our park is about 18 pages long. Some are 1 page long.
Bay Indies is 5.
And yet both parks are owned by the same company.
Same company.
Exactly. But just to give you kind of a heads up, it's good to plan ahead and bring any documentation that you're going to need for this credit check so that you can get the ball rolling quickly, not have to wait till you get home, find all these things, make copies, fax them down or mail them down. So some of the things you will need to bring are 2 forms of ID. Your driver's license can be one. The second one can be either a passport, social security card, Medicare card, has to be some type of, it can't be just a credit card. It has to be something that usually they like your picture on it or like your social security number is on your card, those kinds of IDs. Also a copy of a recent utility bill. And that is to just verify the address on the utility bill matches the address on your driver's license. Proof of income. They're going to want 2 to 3 years of tax returns or W-2s, 3 months of back bank statements. It could be check stubs. Then you're going to need either your mortgage statement or a copy of your deed if it's paid off, or a statement from your rental agency that shows that you pay your rent and you pay it on time. If you're employed, they're going to want your employment records or a statement from the Human Resources Department that you are employed there. Most companies now have a portal that you can go in and print down a sheet, and that's acceptable. Pet records, very important. If you're going to be bringing pets with you, you'll need to have their records from your veterinarian. Car license plate number and emergency contact information. If you bring those things with you, or if you call, for instance, our agency, we can email you the complete application. You can fill it out right on your computer, print it out and bring it with you, and bring your documents, and you'll be all set. Once you've chosen a home, I recommend a 4-point inspection. Dan, can you?
Absolutely. I call it an insurance inspection. Most of these insurance company underwriters today require that 4-point inspection, which is mainly they check the roof, the plumbing, the electrical, the HVAC, your AC, your hot water heater, and your hurricane tie downs. The expensive stuff, if you will, but also the safety items. My Florida Dreams contract, we actually ask you right up front, do you want a home inspection? And we encourage it. Sue and I have both done this for a number of years. We can walk into a home and usually tell you if there's some issues or whatever, either by smell or looking or what's there. But I'm not crawling on the roof and I'm not crawling underneath the home. These guys will do that for you and tell you what's going on, and we encourage it.
And not only that, but we'll also let you know before you've signed a contract if there are any major issues with the house. We generally do not write up our contracts on contingencies. They're as is. So you want to know before you get yourself into a contract what you're up against, and we'll also give you leverage for negotiation with the seller.
Yeah, most of these homes, you got to remember, are older homes. They've been around for a while. So they're going to have little things, but you definitely want those big expensive items checked out.
Right. So then once you and the seller have agreed on a price, we have a very short contract that your agent will draw up for you to sign. Before you sign the contract, though, always ask for an estimated closing statement.
Yeah. If a good agency, like my Florida Dreams, we actually give you a closing statement. It's got the title costs, the documentation fee for transfer of titles for handling, registration fees, sales taxes, because Florida has a 6% sales tax, and then you got a county tax that maxes out at a $50 bill, which is nice. But you want to know that. You don't want any surprises. You want full disclosure, which we give you.
Right. You'll know exactly to the penny what you're going to pay. And also, our organization has our sellers fill out a disclosure statement of anything they know that is wrong with the house. So you will be asked to sign that. That's for your protection. It's also for their protection and our protection. But mostly give you peace of mind that if there is something, you have recourse. Most parks increase their rent every January, but some have increases in other months. I know we have one park that's in October, which is odd, but
yes,
it is what it is. Also, each November, you'll get a statement from the county that you owe a registration fee. It's give or take $100, depending on the length of your house. It's like a license plate for your car. When you say, Dan?
It's a little sticker like you put on your plate, yes.
Yeah.
But we don't have plates.
Unless you're in an RV park.
So RVs, that's true.
The agent should help you complete the application and add any additional documents required by the park for you to turn it in. Actually, I think I prefer my agents to actually turn it in for you. That way we're in contact with the office and we keep that relationship going.
Yeah, I always go through the application process, make sure everything's there. A lot of times they forget to sign it even, and make sure that the proof of your income, your driver's license, everything's there so that we get this done one time.
Yeah. I don't know if you have it in yours, but we've got a waiver that you have to sign in our application, which is, I understood, was for the state, because there is a state law that you have 15 days to change your mind after you close on the house. It's kind of like the lemon law for cars. The only problem with it is that you can't have the keys and you cannot have access to the house for those 15 days. So I'm not sure why it's even in place. But should you just want to back out and you haven't, then you're fine. But if you sign the waiver, you're waivering your right to that 15 days and you can get in the day you close. Once you're approved by the park, you can close any time on your new home. That's an easy step.
Yeah, we just have an agreement between the buyer and the seller. When do they stop paying? When do you start paying, basically? Yes.
Yep.
Change over the utilities, so on and so forth.
You'll sign maybe 4 pieces of paper on an average, and that's it. 10 minutes. Closing's done. On the closing date, your agent's going to take you on a walkthrough for the home. That's just to make sure that everything is agreed upon exactly the way it should be with the seller. Yeah, I have to understand it. I have occasionally run across an instance where the home was to come furnished as is. And then when I got there with the buyer to do the walkthrough, many of the pieces that were supposed to stay were missing. So that is written in their listing contract. We do have recourse to go back on them and either renegotiate price for those missing items or make them return the items.
That's why that furniture sheet's there and both sign off on it. Yes.
That's right. You'll sign the documents after that. We'll give you the keys and you're all set. On a cash sale, your agent's going to get new titles to you within a few days and check back with you just to make sure that everything is okay. And that's pretty much the system.
That's what it is. And then welcome to Florida and your Florida dream home.
Right. So I'd like to thank all of you for listening today, and a special thanks to Dan for taking time out of his busy schedule to join us. Dan, you want to give them your number in case they're interested?
If you're looking in Venice, we got beautiful Bay Indies, just minutes from the beaches down there in the Gulf. Lots of amenities. Dan Clark, My Florida Dreams, 207-807-7537. Give us a call today.
And I'm Sue Shields. If you want any other area than the Venice area, I can direct you to the correct agent that can help you. My number is 941-981-3424. Our podcasts come out on the first and third Monday of each month on Apple Podcast and Buzzsprout. And they're always on YouTube for you to view at any time or look at some of the past podcasts we've done. Thanks again and have a terrific day.